That's kind of what they're working from. And part of that is, again, try to teach them, one, industry skills, and they have to work in a manufacturing shop. They would get drawings for what they were going to have to produce, and then they would have to decide the best means by which to produce it, given these drawings. When I first made this, all I had to work from was something about like that, and then I had to figure out what sizes to make it based on wood requirements and joinery, what type of skills I wanted to work into it, and also keeping in mind how to keep it easiest for the rest of the students. So
this is the kind of project where they're required to like apply a lot of different...
Oh yes, oh yes.
Like for example?
Just a basic addition and subtraction. For instance, they have to go through and they have to figure out how big each one of the parts is and then list it on the sheet. Now, if they read the plans carefully, do a little bit of addition and subtraction of fractions, they can actually figure out how big all the part sizes are. Some of them are explicitly listed, like for instance, the tabletop. They've shown on the plans, it's 20 inches long, 16 inches wide. Very simple. Now the hard one, this shelf. If they work hard, they can figure out the length of the shelf, they can figure out the thickness of the shelf, but there's nothing on there that actually tells them the final width. So they have to go through and they have to do a little bit of math. They have to figure out the sizes of the legs, they have to figure out the sizes of the rails, where they're placed in relation to the leg. Are they off center, are they center? And then based on that, they can figure out how big the shelf is. And then we kind of work through that together as a class, and then I try to introduce more problems where they would have to figure that kind of stuff out as we go throughout the unit. And that's kind of what they're working on as a class. They're learning how to interpret plans, and they're learning about different material choices. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make these layout marks for their mortises, which is essentially what he's doing, just on a larger scale. But if the mortises aren't made correctly, if the layouts don't match up exactly, the slats, there's three vertical pieces on the side of the table, the slats won't come out to the right space and they'll be perfect. Very nice, Shana. Very, very nice. So you do it on the other side? I'm going to do that now. Very good. Loosen up this table and lower it down. You're going to have to measure down on the side of one of these rails 1 inch. Here's why. We only want this to drill 1 inch down into your project. So what you're going to do is when you put this on the chuck, you have to see how far this travels. You see how far down it goes? You have to lower this table down a little bit so that when it bounces out, it only takes this 1 inch into the project. Okay? So you have to work together on this. Now you can cheat a little bit. You don't just have to put it into the chuck like this and then keep it there. If it's really close, you can loosen this and then slide it in a little bit or extend it out a little bit. So once you have it set up, once you keep it set up. Make sure that the tip on the drill is the center of the bit, line up on the center line. Work together. Good setup. All right, so now, this is the old school way. This is the way I learned to do this when I first figuring this stuff out. There is an easier method, and that's the method that our sales do. So I'm only going to require you to cut your mortises like this on one rail. You have 4 rails to cut the mortises on. So I'm going to show you how to do one. First, what face on these, the inside face or the outside face, which one goes toward the fence? So, which is it? Plans tell you. Somebody want to check to make sure so you don't screw it up? All right, it is the inside. Just make sure you guys are conscious of that and you're paying attention to it. Because if you flip it, your holes won't line up from one to the next. So, whose are these? All right, hold that. All right, so now, you cannot drill past this line, you cannot drill past this line. You just have to drill in between these two. So what we're going to do is just drill a series of holes. It's going to make kind of an oval shaped thing, looks like this. Okay. And then we're going to clean that up with a chisel. The reason I'm not letting you do the hollow chisel mortiser, which is what our sales is using on all 4 of them, is because that particular setup and attachment is kind of expensive. And going at this, doing this the first time yourselves, you're not going to have the cash to buy that. That's a $200 attachment. Just buying a machine, that's about $400. There's a dedicated machine that just does that, mortising, all day long. But this is an equally acceptable way of doing things, as long as you're careful and you do it correctly. Hold the chisel on an angle like this with the back of the chisel as flat as possible. You want to try to keep the back parallel to the inside face of the mortise. And I'm just going to kind of move that way to start with. We'll try to take it off all at once. You're just going to take off just little bits at a time. You can see right away how much straighter that looks. All right? But if you look really deep down inside, you can still see the bottom still kind of messed up. Here's how we fix that. You're going to take the chisel. Again, try to keep the back flat up against that flat spot you just made. You're just going to work it side to side as you push down. Don't worry about the fact that the ends are round. That's not. It doesn't make a difference for us right now. On the other side, it actually came out really nice myself. I'm just going to try to clean it up. And that, in a nutshell, is one way of making a mortise. That's acceptable. So now, if it's a little uneven, you don't need to worry a whole lot about it because the slats are going to have a shoulder on it. If you don't know what a shoulder is yet, that's okay, you're fine. The tenon's going to go inside the mortise and the shoulder is going to overlap the mortise. So if it's uneven, don't worry, it's going to cover it up.